Hello, spooky crew. Our tote bag drawing is officially closed, and we just want to say a massive thank you to everyone who entered. We are so grateful for the love and the support, and we have loved reading your reviews. Missed the tote? No worries. We're still sending out high-quality vinyl stickers while supplies last. Just email us proof of your rating and review along with your mailing address to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, and we'll get one headed your way. Quick promise, your address is only for mailing the sticker. No emails, no selling info, no funny business, just spooky gratitude. Thanks again for supporting the show. You are the reason we do this. You're listening to The Spooky Darlings, a podcast where three sisters get together and talk about anything creepy or fun or spooky. And we are in our cryptid crawl, and today is Kansas, which is what, the 15th state? I should have counted before we started.
14, 15, around there. 17?
We're 16.
So 16th. We're on state 16. Kansas is the 16th state. And I think you're pretty excited about the Kansas cryptids. We decided we're going to go youngest to oldest. So that means, oh wait, first we'll introduce ourselves. I'm Nettie, the oldest.
I'm Emily, the middle.
I'm
the middleist.
Haley, the youngest.
And Haley is going to start today, and we're going to go youngest to oldest. So Haley,
Hooray.
What do you have for us?
Well,
First of all, is it an actual cryptid? None of my business is what I'm feeling right now.
you tell me. First, I was going to do Kansas City Demon because that's what came up when I Googled Kansas cryptids. Kansas City is in Missouri. So then I pivoted to, oh gosh, what was it? I was like Googling like Kansas weird, mysterious. And there was like this mysterious black circle in the sky. And then it was like 10 seconds of like somebody's transformer blew up. That is a smoke ring.
Oh, I have seen cool pictures of those cool like things in the sky where you're like, is it a portal?
Yeah. And like it's like smoky on the thing, but it looks mysterious. And so it's like, oh my gosh, is that some like craft in the sky? So anyways, let me tell you a little story.
Okay.
We're gonna do a little, it's a cool summer night. You're driving in Sand Hills State Park in Hutchinson County, sometimes near Wichita. BTK.
Oh.
Located in central-ish Kansas. When do you see someone ahead? Are they in the middle of the road? Ugh, he looks disfigured. He's wearing a hood and an apron is covered in blood.
What?
What is he holding? Why is this strange man holding a hunk of meat? Then he starts to run at you.
Oh.
I'm talking about Hamburger Man of Sand Hill.
Oh my
What
gosh.
a gross man.
Yeah. So, this is a story from a group of teens. They were driving down a rural Kansas road. It's late. And they see a figure, much like the story I just told you, standing in the middle of the road. So naturally, they slow down and they're waiting for the thing to move. And they're getting closer, and they say that he has got a pale face, long, greasy hair. It looks like he might be burnt or like disfigured in some sort of way. His clothes are torn. He's got dirty hands. One of the teens rolls down the window and yells, "What are you doing, man?" And that's when the man begins to run at the car, and he's fast. Driver pulls the car in reverse, turns around, and the man, for a moment, it seems like he's keeping pace with the car, but the teens manage to speed away. No one's injured, just scared. So they get home, and there's raw meat smeared all across the back of their car.
Is this just some prankster man?
Gross.
So they go back to the scene of the incident, crime.
Incident, I would say.
There's no evidence of this interaction.
So no meat in the road,
No meat in the road. No, like, footprints in the road. Come to find out, a local slaughterhouse worker had murdered his co-workers the night before. This is a classic urban legend.
I swear to you that there
Swear
is a cryptid in Oregon on the Oregon coast, also known as the Hamburger Man.
No way.
I might be wrong.
We will just have to wait till we get to O.
I might check it out right now.
No, we have to wait.
There's so many Oregon cryptids.
Stop Googling things while I'm telling you stories.
I thought you were done.
No.
Oh, you just, okay.
She
Now,
likes
putting
to
my phone
do
away.
a couple of fake endings to see
Yes.
if you're going to try to say something and then be like, no, hey now.
I wasn't, we're like, oh, you weren't done. We thought you just sounded so done.
I'm almost done. Hey, we've thought you were done before too, and then you told us another cryptid.
Because the first one wasn't a cryptid.
Surprise.
It's like we're sisters. Okay, so this local urban legend lends itself to a local mental patient escaped. Isolated farm roads at night are scary. Our beloved local teens, they loved pulling pranks. Maybe they also like to take raw hamburger meat and throw it at your car.
That's gross, teens.
And
But I feel like it
especially-
would leave a trace.
Yeah. Well, the teens aren't known for cleaning up after themselves. But the one I told you was like urban legend. And so also teens love to prank their fellow teens and the local population at large.
Right,
So
but it's not a good idea to prank someone by standing in the middle of the road and running at them. If someone did that to me and they had an apron covered of blood, you better believe I'm lead footing it right into them. Self-defense.
I might swerve
Self-defense.
around them just to get out of there.
get out of
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
I guess, yeah.
So there's no confirmed police reports about this hamburger man. Sometimes it's also a man with a hook or a man with a sickle. Or might he even be Slender Man?
Yeah, yes.
You didn't have a better reaction than I thought you would have.
Well, no, it's just because I started thinking about my cryptid and the correlation.
How dare you?
I was kind of lost thinking about the Hamburglar or the hamburger helper guy that's inside a glove. I was thinking, like, could this somehow be related?
Yeah. We should probably call our local officials about that. So, do yourself a favor. If you see a lone figure holding raw meat, have a portable grill with you. He's hungry.
Oh, that's a good solution.
Grill, baby, grill. And that's the Hamburger Man from Kansas.
Hamburger Man from Kansas. That's applause.
Thank you.
Really? That was I would consider that a cryptid, especially if he appears to be made of raw meat.
No,
I don't know where I got that from.
he's just holding it.
Okay, hold on. I'm gonna check
Actually,
something.
we're all kind of made of raw meat if you think about it. You put that phone down. I'm not done.
You're right. You're right.
Just gonna check something real fast. Hamburger Man of Oregon Coast. Oh. Well, the Hamburger Man or premier giant burger experience on the Oregon coast is often associated with the Newport Cafe in Newport. That is not what I was looking for.
Did you type the word cryptid?
No.
Did you type mysterious?
No, Hamburger Man of Oregon Coast. That's all I typed. Also, it's AI. AI is always trying to tell me that there's no such thing.
Well, listen. Ah, man. I just typed it all and it disappeared.
See, no one wants us to know about the Hamburger Man of the Oregon Coast.
So we're going youngest to oldest. Emily, you're next.
Yeah.
But we just want to find out if there's a Hamburger Man of Oregon Coast.
Oh, we're still on that? Okay.
Oh, there is.
You found him?
Yeah. On
he
Scared
scary?
to Death. The Hamburger Man.
Whoa.
Yeah.
He looks kind of like a meat clown, guys.
But now, moving on to middle sister,
Okay.
Emily.
Let me tell you. Sinkhole Sam is Kansas's most famous lake monster legend. He is a very large snake or worm-like creature that is said to dwell in a small pond called Inman's Big Sinkhole. It used to be a part of Inman Lake near Inman, Kansas, which is northwest of Wichita. Now, in the early 1900s, there were a series of freshwater lakes that spread across central Kansas that lent themselves to excellent fishing and duck hunting, but these lakes were later drained, leaving only Lake Inman and a few shallow areas of water known as sinkholes. So, Sinkhole Sam is usually described as being 15 to 30 feet long and about as big around as a tire. He has a fluted fin-like tail and sometimes a fin on its back. I mean, some descriptions say he has a fin on his back. He either has it or doesn't. Anyway.
Sometimes.
It doesn't come and go.
Sometimes he dons it.
Some descriptions say he has a fin on his back. Guess what his facial expression is?
Like really casual.
Smile? Big smile.
Cavalier. Maybe like a teeny bit, a little bit smug.
Anger. I love those. No, it's a non-snake-like grin, if you can picture it.
Oh, I did say happy.
Yeah,
you said
smile. It's a non-snake-like grin, which,
non-snake-like. Okay.
There are a lot of types of smile that are non-snake-like, so that leaves a lot to your imagination. The first documented sighting was in the 1920s by some fishermen. Another sighting occurred in 1951, but the most well-documented report was 1952, when two teens, Albert Newfield and George Rigger, and they were both Mennonite boys, were out fishing at the sinkhole. They saw something, and what do most people do when they see a cryptid?
Shoot it.
They try to shoot at it. Oh. So they shot at it with a .22 rifle.
Boo.
So the boy with the gun, Newfield, was certain that he got the creature, but it got away. So word spread. Visitors started showing up, trekking to the sinkhole. People would park around the edge of the sinkhole, just watching the surface, trying to catch a glimpse of the Sinkhole Sam. A lot of people would watch from the safety of their cars because they weren't quite sure that this thing was friendly, but they were all eager to catch a glimpse. So, a man named Ernest Alva Dewey, who was an apparent poker funner-atter, and maybe a man of whimsy.
Poker funner-atter.
Heckler?
No, he had written several articles. What did you say?
I said heckler is a good word, but I like poker funner-atter.
Well, he wasn't a heckler in the sense that he would heckle people out loud. He would write articles. He had written several articles about cryptids.
Poker funner-atter, yep. That is the term.
I mean, listen, it was midnight when I was typing this up, and I ran out of words.
Hey.
I thought you were going to say, it was midnight in Kansas at the sinkhole.
It was midnight in Kansas. Anyway, okay.
That's the title of this episode. There, we did it. Midnight in Kansas.
So, he had written several articles. Ernest Alva Dewey had written several articles about cryptids and paranormal events and UFO sightings, including an article claiming that UFO sightings were actually a dragon species known as the ball-tailed snickelhoopus.
I mean, come on. We've had dragon sightings in other states.
Yes. He also wrote an article about...
Not called a snagglehoopus, but still.
I do love it.
He also wrote an article about Sinkhole Sam, claiming to have gone out to the big sinkhole with a very made-up man named, in his article, Dr. Erasmus P. Quattlebaum, who he claimed identified Sinkhole Sam as just a simple Foopengurgle.
Oh, okay, a Foopengurgle.
These all sound made up.
Yes, so he explained that a Foopengurgle was an unintelligent, extinct, subterranean, vegetarian, male-only creature that was so unintelligent that it didn't realize he was extinct. So this is what Ernest Alva Dewey is writing in 1953.
Is that why he had a non-snake-like grin? Because he just was dopey?
Probably. So Dewey, while clearly being silly, didn't give any serious thought to the multiple sightings that people had actually reported. He was just kind of out there writing elbow ribbing type stories, which were fun.
He was like, what would Dr. Seuss write?
Exactly. So these were fun things, but he wasn't really investigating. He was kind of being silly. Then Mary Kay Flynn who was an actual serious reporter, was dispatched from Kansas City to do some investigative reporting. And she found that all of the reports by people that had seen it were consistent. This was 15 to 30 feet long, fluted tail, a back fin, again, a non-snake-like grin. And she took down all of the first accounts. And when this story was printed, it brought even more attention, and it kind of started to spread across the United States. So more people started to come to this little town in Kansas to try to view Sinkhole Sam. Now, around the same area, about 50 miles south of Inman, is a place called Kingman State Lake, and a similar creature has been reported there. Now, this is a state lake, and it's not a naturally occurring lake, but it was formed from a naturally occurring marsh, and it's located next to the Nenaska River. So both in the 1900s and in the late 1960s, there were several accounts of a large snake-like creature reported. Eyewitness accounts of the size vary, but some have said that it's the size of a large python. Others have said that it's the girth is so large that even a tractor could not run over it.
Oh, wow.
Whoa. Girth.
Yeah, Haley. In the late 60s, a large search for this snake was conducted, and nothing was found except for native species that should be there and that were normal size. So that creature from Kingman State Lake was never given a proper name, but some people believe that it could be the same creature and that there's like a subterranean network of caves that it can swim through. Maybe like water-filled caves that it can swim through.
Ooh. I do wonder.
You wonder.
I do wonder.
So over time, there have been fewer and fewer reports of Sinkhole Sam, but at Kingman State Lake, where something like Sinkhole Sam was reported, there have been reports of other cryptids, including a mysterious figure in a trench coat, Mothman, and Bigfoot. So maybe, do you ever wonder if certain areas are kind of like either portals or some kind of magnet? There's some kind of energy maybe in certain areas that makes them like
parallel universes.
like a hotbed for cryptids or something. Yeah.
I do wonder.
Or is it just a den of liars and exaggerators?
No, it's
Who knows?
not. I think that it is. I think when you see multiple sightings by multiple people, especially when you have credible people all saying the same thing and giving the same description, especially when they're older, it's not like in the internet days where someone could type up their description and someone else copy it. Like these sightings were like in the 50s when it was word of mouth. It was,
Right. Yeah.
it's
Okay, so, well,
people seeing the same thing.
I mean, I think you're right. Like, I think that we should, it should be taken seriously when multiple people report something that's similar, right?
As cryptozoologist files, we
Yes.
definitely have to look at it as a
budding.
Oh, I said files.
Cryptozoology files.
Well, listen, in an article in kansascitymag.com, a journalist named Michael Alberti described contacting a famous cryptozoologist named Lauren Coleman. Do you remember that name?
It sounds familiar.
Is this the same one that was for the one with the triangle body spaceship one with the...
No, but he was the guy in Enfield that weighed in on the Enfield horror, and he was the one that wrote one of the articles that I referenced in that. So he is a very famous he's the most famous cryptozoologist.
So far.
He has written and co-written around 40 books and thousands of articles on cryptids, including the 2003 book, The Field Guide to Lake Monsters, Sea Serpents, and Other Denizens of the Deep. Sinkhole Sam did not make it into that book, unfortunately, but Coleman is the director of the International Cryptozoology Museum in Portland, Maine, and he's just basically like the biggest deal in cryptozoology.
Adding it to my purchase list. What was it called again?
Well, that book, he has several books, but that book was called The Field Guide to Lake Monsters, Sea Serpents, and Other Denizens of the Sea. Let's see here. So Coleman weighed in on the reports of Sinkhole Sam, and he thought that it sounded awfully similar to another cryptid, the Mongolian deathworm, aside from acid spitting and roaming in the sandy desert, because Sinkhole Sam has only been seen in the water. And the size of Mongolian deathworms does not exceed 5 feet in length.
Do Mongolian deathworms, are they in Mongolia?
I would guess by the name that they are. Unless they're just like flavored with the flavors of Mongolia.
Well, I just wasn't sure if it was like the name of a another cryptid in Kansas, or if it was like just known to have similar properties to the one in Mongolia.
Yeah, interesting. I should have looked that up and I didn't. But yeah, so what do you think? Were the two Mennonite boys bored and making up a tale?
Mennonites don't make shit up.
Well, so that's actually something that was mentioned several times. Like they are kind of known to be a very honest type of people and not attention seeking. And the living family members are still not trying to milk attention for the story. They kind of talk about it as like a bedtime story or a campfire tale. But I don't know. Do you think it's possible that the tale just grew over time, or was there something that was misidentified? It could have been a log or a python or other large snake. What do you think? Could it be actually a prehistoric extraterrestrial subterranean aquatic cave dwelling creature?
What I think, Emily, to answer your question, is I think we need to take it into consideration.
Yeah, I think that we should. Okay, step one.
Okay.
Let's read all 42 books by Lauren Coleman. Step two.
He
Let's
has
read all
42?
of his thousands of articles that he's co-authored. Step three.
Okay. Got it.
We basically then have all of the knowledge that he has. Step four. We are cryptozoologists.
And then we take his identity.
Well, we are cryptozoologists. Yes, that's what I love. That's what I want.
I was on a different page.
You wanted to take over his life. No, Ryan.
We
no,
storm.
Buell. What is his name?
We storm the
Lawrence.
Museum of Cryptozoology and declare ourselves the directors.
And sovereign citizens.
Then we form a coalition.
A pact.
A coalition. And
And a pact.
a pact. So anyway, Emily, that's a fascinating cryptid. And I like the little tastes we got of other cryptids.
I hope I didn't step on any other cryptid toes.
That's so interesting. It's crazy to me how much is seen in one area. And I'm about to segue into my cryptid, but the thing about my cryptid is I don't actually know completely the area. I kind of know the area, but the person that reported this cryptid didn't want to give the actual name of the place it was sighted because they didn't want it to be overwhelmed with crypto
With looky-loos?
Or the looky-loos, yes.
Crypto looky-loos.
With
Cryptoria
cryptourists.
looky-loos.
We call them cryptourists and looky-loos.
And those are official terms from cryptozoologists, budding ones. So I'm going to tell you guys all about... Wait, did you finish?
I did. Yeah.
You did an excellent job. Did I
Thank
say that?
you.
Okay.
It's really good, Emmy.
And Haley, you also did an excellent job.
Oh, thanks.
I love this.
Nettie, you're about to do a good job.
Well, we will see. I might just
What
crash.
episode is this? You're 60
16.
for 60.
16 cryptid. Just 16
16
cryptid.
cryptid episodes for 16 cryptid episodes.
So I am doing the thing on Unknown Lane. And Unknown Lane because the person who is telling the story decided that they didn't want to give the name of the street that it was on. But I would like to show you guys, before I begin telling you about it, I would like to show you a picture. Because it might be one of the creepiest things that I've ever seen. That's the top half. It's very long.
Ah!
So you have to see it in two parts. That's the bottom half.
I don't like it.
That's why I reacted when you said Slender Man. Because I was like, wow. Don't worry, listeners. We will put that on the social media. But that is a depiction of the thing on Unknown Lane. And so this information comes from Flint Hills Paranormal. And this is actually the only reported sighting I could find about this particular cryptid, although there are very similar cryptid types that are described similarly, but for some reason aren't grouped with this particular one. But when you Google Kansas cryptid, it comes up as one of like the cryptids. So I'm going to tell you about this. So on this person's 20th birthday, they went out driving late at night with two close friends. And the three of them all were like, just like us, like big fans of the paranormal and of spooky places. So this was like their ideal way to spend the 20th birthday. But even though they love that kind of stuff, they weren't actually going out with the intention to find anything spooky or run into anything spooky. And they weren't actually trying to go to a spooky place. But They did. They ended up going and seeing something very scary. So they found themselves in rural Wabanassi County. So we know it's in rural Wabanassi County in Kansas, but I don't know where, other than it was at the Wabanassi-Lyon County line, and it was at an intersection. But the lanes or the roads were not disclosed. So this person looked to their left, and they saw a road, like a minimally maintained road, like one where, you'd take your four-wheelers on. And it was kind of like tunnel-like because the trees were sort of encasing it. And it was really, really dark, like no light was getting through these trees. So they, of course, were like, yeah, we're going to go down that road. We have to. I mean, I think we would do the same thing. The three of us would be like, we should probably go down into that dark tunnel road with no lights.
Those kinds of roads where the trees do that tunnel thing are so beautiful.
So beautiful. Yes. It was the middle of the night and super dark, but yes, beautiful.
Beautiful and creepy.
And so they decided to call this, the lane has a name, but they're calling it Unknown Lane. So they start driving up the road. And as they drove up, it became more and more rough, more and more rocky. And it eventually felt like they were off-roading, like it wasn't maintained anymore. I kind of imagine like driving up in Mount Emily, like where it's just like, okay, should have taken a different car, or glad I'm in my side-by-side. And then they noticed that while they were driving, it was very, very quiet. Like the feeling of the dark and of the silence was like really heavy. They could actually like feel it. And they emerged into a clearing. And then in the clearing, there was like a rundown house, like clearly abandoned. It was like small, 2 stories, but it looked like it had been unoccupied for decades. And the road just ended right in front of the house. Like the road kind of like went out into the clearing and then just sort of drove up to the house. So it was almost like instead of on a road, they were on someone's long, private, abandoned driveway. They looked around and they were like, this must be an abandoned ranch or an abandoned farm. This house is in the middle of a clearing. They could see a few outbuildings and an old camper trailer that was like all rusted and an old farm truck. And so they were like, what are we going to do? Yeah, we're going to get out and we're going to investigate. So they got out and they started walking around, but immediately it felt very wrong to them. Like the feeling, they all had this feeling that they were being watched. And especially the further they got away from their vehicle, the stronger the feeling became that something was not right.
Oh my gosh.
So they all kind of looked at each other and were like, this isn't a good idea. Let's all get back in the car. So their exploration didn't go far. They only got a few feet away from their Jeep, and they all ended up back in the Jeep. And they started driving back down that winding road that was actually probably a driveway, and leaving the ranch behind them. And then suddenly there is a thunk right against the driver's side door of the car as they were driving. Something just slammed into the driver's side door. And they're looking around because they didn't see anything. So they have no clue what it could have been. But it was loud enough that they all startled. They all heard it. So they kind of looked, like used the rearview mirrors, and they looked and they couldn't see anything in the rearview mirrors. They couldn't see anything in the headlights. They did not get out of the car and investigate. They ended up driving down the rest of the road, like down into the city. And they were just like, this was so weird. We've never heard of this place. We've never seen this place. Like, and what was that hit the door? But they were really like that place was weird. So of course they decided to go back. Well, the person telling the story actually talked about the place to a coworker who was like, take me there. I want to go there. Take me there immediately. And so this person decided to take his coworker, who's a woman, and they were going to go drive up there the next day. And it was already dark by the time they got up there. It was the middle of winter, by the way, in Kansas, so there's snow on the ground. And so moonlight's shining, and they go back up and drive. Like, he knows the way now, so they're driving up. They get to the end. They pull up to the ranch, and this time he's a little more comfortable, so he like pulls further in, like closer to the house. And he wanted to like turn the Jeep around so it was facing, so he wouldn't have to back out. So he wanted to turn the Jeep around so that when they got back in the car, they could just leave. So as he's swinging the Jeep around, for a split second, they see a creature that is tall, thin, too tall, too thin, and too fast to be a human. And it wasn't a deer or any other kind of animal. It was bipedal and it was terrifying looking. And they felt the energy in the air. It changed and they were filled with complete terror. They felt like they were not safe. They felt like they were the bottom of the food chain, is how he described it.
Oh my gosh.
So this person telling the story, the narrator, was an army medic. He had been a police officer and he had been an EMT. So he was not someone who was like a stranger to high intense situations.
Reliable person.
Well, he had been in like these adrenaline filled situations before, like where you're in danger, where you're feeling like intense situations. And he said that this particular situation, seeing that thing in the field disappearing into the tree line, was the most scared he had ever been. And he said that even though he was excited to go back that second time, that he is very hesitant to go back. And to this day, he doesn't know what it was that he saw. But he does know, and this is in the Flint Hills of Kansas, that he does know that it was long inhabited by the native Kansa tribes hundreds of years ago, before settlers expanded into the territory, and that battles between the natives and settlers took place in those areas, and that the land that ranch sits on has a bunch of history that is undoubtedly tragic, like battles were fought there between settlers and natives, and he does not know what kind of spiritual energies still reside there. So he just says, respect the land if you're going to go to a place like that. So just respect the land. Now, I wanted to find similar stories, so I just like put in the description of what they saw into Kansas Cryptids Reddit, and I did find.
So in that description, did he say what he thought it was at all? Or I know they were terrified. Okay.
Does not say, he never says what he thought it was. Where is this? He just describes it and describes the terror. But there were other white-skinned creatures like this that were tall white-skinned creatures seen in Kansas. So this person says, back in high school, this person is Cack Money 101, and this is on Reddit Cryptids. So back in high school, when they were probably around 17, I would make regular late-night trips back and forth from my girlfriend's house. I traveled the road to and from her house about 100 times easily. One night I headed home, and on this curve, my headlight shined into the ditch. I only saw it for a second, but I immediately began crying, like I didn't have control over my emotions. What I saw in that split second was a long-bodied, white-skinned creature bigger than any person crawling in the ditch. It reminded me of a hairless cat. The head, though, was the shape of a person's head, but no facial features except for a large black mouth. Also, its legs were backward, like a person doing a crab walk. Anyways, I was tired to go back, but I did during the daytime, and the only thing in that ditch was a fallen tree. After I got over the fear of it, I drove that road probably 100 more times, and I never saw anything like that again. So he thought at first it might be the fallen tree, like the trick of the light playing tricks on him, but he said that he always focused and he could never make that tree look anything like what he saw. And he wonders if anyone else has seen anything. And so a lot of people are like, oh, probably a trick of the light, blah, blah, blah. And this person said, my boyfriend saw something similar with his ex-girlfriend in the woods on 2 separate occasions. Pale, white, hairless, humanoid with a circular black mouth. He also described 2 smaller black eyes, making the face look almost like a bowling ball. Whoa. Apparently, it stayed still when they were looking at it, and it didn't attack them. And when they looked away, it fled. And they were with a big group, and they all saw the same thing. And they think that the creature was just territorial since they were in the woods at night. But what was it? It was humanoid, skinny, tall, white, weird black holes for eyes, strange black hole for a mouth. So there's a few others. And if you go to that, like the website that I told you about originally, the Flint Hills Paranormal, there are reports of golem-like creatures. So smaller than what I described, but otherwise...
Oh, like they're babies.
Maybe.
Emily.
Maybe. That says a weird thing crossing on a road, and then it says it looks like Gollum, and then it has a picture of Gollum. So I do wonder, and that was in Pratt County, Kansas, but it does say it was a 2-legged something weird dash across the road in twilight, but it looked like Gollum ran across the road. And they go, maybe it was a pheasant or something, but it looked like Gollum. And then other people have reported similar things, like just white-skinned, hairless creatures that are very humanoid crossing the road.
Wow.
And then one of you said something about a man dressed as a priest. Or no, you said a man in a jacket. Am I wrong? Oh.
Huh?
Yeah, you said a man in
A
a
hamburger man with an apron and a hood.
But so someone else described almost exactly what these people described, but they said it was dressed like a priest. So it was a really tall man with priest attire on the side of the road, about every mile or so, smiling and waving at us.
No.
Like on
100 miles an hour.
Oh my gosh.
What's that? It was
Like
in
on-
Topeka, Kansas.
Oh my gosh, that's freaky.
Or just outside of Topeka, Kansas.
That's so creepy.
Yeah, like abnormally tall, dressed like a priest, smiling and waving. So yeah, that's the thing on Unknown Lane, and then a few other related creatures. And those are our Kansas cryptids.
Kansas cryptids, everybody.
You guys, this was fun. I love the Kansas cryptids, and I also want to go travel around on that weird Wabusa County line and see what I can find.
Yeah.
Let's go find this abandoned ranch. Should we? No.
Yeah.
We probably shouldn't.
Probably should.
Okay, let's do it.
We should probably do a 50-state road trip.
You guys, why do we have lives outside this?
I don't know. It's so lame.
Wouldn't it be nice if we didn't have other responsibilities? I mean,
If only we could drive to Hawaii.
we can. We can't.
Yeah, I don't know how we would.
We'll just close that real quick. Who's closing it?
Me.
Okay.
Thank you for listening. Again, we are the Spooky Darlings, and you can find us on Instagram and TikTok at the Spooky Darlings Podcast. And if you have a cryptid of your own that you would like us to look into,
Next is Kentucky.
please email us at thespookydarlings@gmail.com. Thank you for listening. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye. Before we disappear into the shadows, don't forget, we're still sending out vinyl stickers. Leave us a rating and review and email us proof to thespookydarlings@gmail.com, along with your mailing address, and we'll send you some spooky snail mail while supplies last. And if your heart is still mourning that tote bag, may we gently tempt your way toward our merch store at thespookydarlings.printful.me. Treat yourself. You deserve it. Thanks for listening. And as always, stay spooky.